What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and in this video I'm going to talk more about play to earn or GameFi, or as I've talked about in previous videos, how I got crabs. Now I know what people are thinking, like, what are you scratching down there, Liz? No, that's not the case, people. I'm about to tell you a little bit more about my journey into play to earn and GameFi and how things are going so far, the outlook on the whole thing, since we are having a bit of a Bitcoin crisis. People are up in arms, running around, scratching their crabs and wondering what in the hell's going on. I'm going to give you guys that whole update and a heck of a lot more. So if you're looking to get into DeFi, GameFi, and or play to earn, this is the video you got to see just to see what the outlook is like for the future. So I'm super fired up about this. I hope you're fired up. Let's do this. So before I get started, just a quick note, my brand new fresh Discord server is finally dropped. I'll put the link below in the description, but just a warning beforehand, it's bare as hell, people. I just started it. We're hoping to add a couple hundred members right now. That way we can get the conversation started and start to learn a little bit more about DeFi, play to earn, and or GameFi, or whatever in the hell else comes up. So that link again is below, but let's talk about what I want to talk about in this video. All right, Liz, so what's going on in Bikini Bottom? We all know it's where the crabs live. It's a blatant rip of SpongeBob. We know this. Those Singaporeans, or whatever they call them, must be batshit crazy about SpongeBob because, eerily enough, this game looks identical to Bikini Bottom. But let's talk about what's going on with my crabs. Number one thing about the crabs nowadays is it's all about this battle game. So what they've literally done is they've gone all into battling it out. What do I mean by that? We've talked about it in the past, but I'll just briefly go over what it is. Now there is a standalone app where you can play these crabs and still, to this day, earn money, just how I talked about in the past. Now, is that amount of money the same as it used to be? Absolutely not, guys and girls. Bitcoin, if you haven't paid attention, took a faster shit than if you just ate every single thing on the Golden Corral buffet. You would have lunged at that toilet faster than Speedy Gonzalez running from immigration. I know that's one of my favorite analogies to use, but that's all I could think of on the fly, people. However, it's still paying out some money. Now, is the outlook grim for the entire rest of the year and the entire rest of the existence of this game? We'll talk about that more in detail here in a second, but I will say this much. Everything is about battles. And in the past, I talked about how we could play this game using bot. And what I mean by that is we could literally set up mini computer programs to control these crabs and take part in actions that would pay us the token that they are paid in, which is treasure under the sea. And I know people have not really ever grasped how we get paid to play these, but I'll kind of give you an example. I'm going to jump into a mine zone here. I'm just going to hit mine zone, and you'll see that I've got all three of these opened up because of the level of crab I'm at. So I'm going to claim some money that I apparently won way back in the day before I was being lazy. And I haven't really played this too much. I just haven't had the time to do it. So I'm going to jump into a mine. I'm going to hit start mine, and then I'm just going to put my crabs however battle I want to put them in. So this guy, I'm just going to stick him here, and these guys I'm just going to stick on either side of that guy. And now we've got, this guy doesn't need to be, he does not belong in there. That guy is completely out of his league. He's going to get his ass handed to him. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and hit start mine. And now literally, this is what they call idle. This is why it's an idle game, because as I sit here and talk to you, these guys are busy mining for the next hour. They're either going to win, lose, and they'll win all these different little things like this star, this shell, this flag, this weenie. I don't know, people, it looks like a weenie to me. It's a hot dog, as you Americans call a hot dog. In Mexico, we call that thing a weenie. That weenie will be won, and then we'll get to put all these little ingredients together to make these crabs food and to trade in for treasure under the sea. Now, once we trade in for treasure under the sea, it's as simple as going to somewhere like Trader Joe XYZ. No, I'm not talking about the local grocery market. There's a place called Trader Joe XYZ. I'll show you this. It's a platform. Trader Joe XYZ is a platform where you buy and sell crypto. And in this case, we would swap out our treasure under the sea, which I could just type out here, treasure under the sea. I could easily swap it for either USDC, which is an equivalent of USDT, which is like the US dollar, or AVAX. I could swap it for AVAX and then trade it into the US dollar and get paid. So, in other words, I'm basically playing to earn some money. And right now with Crabada, as I mentioned, they've completely changed this whole idle thing to where you have to participate by clicking buttons. They are now very vigilant about trying to stop bots, because in the past we would just set up these bots to run the whole show for us and not really have to do a single thing, people. This is the beauty of pioneering things and jumping into things early on. You get to take advantage of little things like this. We can no longer do that because of the simple fact that the developers, who I'd like to point out here about as useful as a banana peeler, or furthermore, even as useful as a poopy flavored lollipop, those guys, and I'll tell you a little bit more why that's the case, they've now pretty much threatened anyone that has a bot, so they'll ban their accounts. Like, it really matters, people. A crab is $7 freaking dollars. $7. So before, when they were 50, as you can see, they significantly decreased in price. But why am I still telling you that you should jump in? Well, that's because of the simple fact is you should learn how to do play to earn and or GameFi, whatever you want to call it, because this is the future. So if you have experience on one game, that experience will carry over into other games, but so will the relationships that you make with other people like me that are currently playing these games and plan to play other games in the future. And trust me when I say there are a pretty decent amount of games coming out that look pretty fantastic. They're not going to look like this bikini bottom rip-off shit that clearly is taking away SpongeBob's trademark, whatever you want to call it. So with that being said, we now have to actively play. Now, on a good note, the idle game, which is the game that you can still use bots if you're willing to, is still available. However, the rewards have decreased 60%, which means you're going to make a significant amount less than you used to in the past. A couple other updates that I did want to mention before I do give you my outlook on the game as a whole is they've now also introduced the ability to stake CRA, which is one of the 3 tokens that they originally started with. The 3 tokens that are involved in this game are Treasure Under the Sea, which we've talked about already. It's what you earn on a daily basis if you play the game. CRA, which is another coin that you used to need to breed crabs, and then CRAM, which is an entirely other coin that they added for who heaven only knows what the hell it was added for. It sticks out like a sore thumb. It's like Shaq in China. And what CRA can now be used for is something called staking, which has been a huge disappointment in almost every other facet of crypto. But here are the rewards that you'll get if you promise to stick the CRA for 30, 60, or 90 days. So this is the APY that it pays out. And it seems like a nice little mini Ponzi scheme. But again, as long as the game lasts the test of time, which so far it seems that it's could potentially happen, here is what you can earn. And I looked through this earlier, and to be quite honest with me, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. This whole example, it makes about as much sense as a squirrel with the calculator. So you go ahead and take a look at it and try and see if you can figure it out. But again, you will or you can earn rewards if you do decide to stake that token. Now CRAM, which is the 3rd token involved with Crabada, I still don't know what it's going to be used for, and I don't think they know either. Let's now talk about what other ways you can make money other than this idle mining, because at the rate we're going, we're not going to make too much money unless we level up our crabs. Mine are currently only at level 11. Crabs can go high as level 100. I've not really looked into the Discord servers to see who's got what or who's showing off what crab level they're at. But I do want to mention that I do have a Discord server that is brand new. It's fresh. So to be quite honest, there's not really a heck of a lot on it, but we are building towards having a ton on it. And I will be doing exclusive crypto videos every Saturday on some of these GameFi projects that I am testing out, as well as one of my very good friends who's a total degenerate. So I do recommend you join that. The link is below. Make sure you hop in there and help us build this community out. I'll be forever grateful, and I promise not to send you a poopy flavored lollipop. If you don't, I will send you a poopy flavored lollipop. Let's talk about the 2 other ways that you could still really make money on this. Besides the staking, besides this version of idle mining, you could still breed. The marketplace is still pretty good. Premium crabs are selling for 40, while the cheaper all right crabs are selling for 7. So you can still make some money breeding. In the long run, what you're looking to do is just try and collect as much treasure under the sea and or crabs as you can, and hope for a bounce back in the future, along with Bitcoin, right? So this is going to ride the tails of Bitcoin or any other token that it's tied to. So that is one thing. Breeding, as we mentioned in another video, still works. Of course, in order to breed, you need to utilize the marketplace, which again, the devs have mentioned that they will be vigilant as well for marketplace bots. So be careful if you're botting. Who knows what's going to happen when we see a first wave of bannings or suspensions. It'll be interesting to see what happens then. And to really start a team to be able to go on any of these adventures, you see the prices here, $6.48. So 3 really solid crabs will probably cost you about $40. So you can have a team put together for $40. And like I said before, it's worth testing out, people, because the future is play to earn. So get your feet wet, get your claws wet, figure out how the hell it's going to be, and take it from there. See if you even like the damn thing. Now, before I get into talking more about the devs, let's talk about one last thing called discipleships. What discipleships pretty much mean are hiring a person to work these crabs for you. So the higher that you get in crab level, the more ability to earn a higher amount of tusks, and you could outsource that to VAs in the Philippines. But how can you trust them with your wallet, right? They'll have control of your assets, be able to send things from wallet to wallet, unless you create what's called a discipleship. And it's nothing more than allowing somebody access to playing your crabs on the standalone platform, so they'll be able to control them, play them, level them, mine them, do whatever in the hell you want with them. And the real neat part is that you'll be able to give them a disciple access only. So it's pretty much you can play people to make money for you, and this will become invaluable, not in this game right now since the price is taking a dump. It will be invaluable in future games, which is happening all around us. All these games that are coming out have this discipleship in them, but it will be a good stepping stone to train your VAs to get a handle of what's going on at a very cheap price and give them a percentage of it. That's kind of how it's all built upon. So you promise them a percentage of that. In the USA, we've gotten so good at hiring VAs from the Philippines that we don't necessarily have to give them a percentage. We can pay them a very meager wage. That's however many dollars an hour you want to. You decide on that. And in the future, I will show you how I'm doing that for my VAs and my game. All right, so finally, let's get back over to those silly devs who, like I said, are more useful than a banana peeler. The reality is that I don't really think this game will survive, and if it does, it would be a miracle to me, and that is simply because of the fact that the devs dropped the ball. Not just that, obviously Bitcoin has a huge impact on it, but there will be a lot of games that are able to rebound. This one, I just don't think so. I don't think the devs are intelligent enough to do the most important thing in business, and if you learn one lesson from this video, let it be that there is nothing more important in business than the ability to market. So the devs unleashed, or unveiled, I should say, their marketing plan for the game on how to collect brand new people into the game. And that plan consisted of their marketing plan, which, get ready for this, people. We might be here for hours and hours when I have to detail this to you. All it was word of mouth marketing. Now, it enraged so many diehard believers in the game that they even decided to launch their own campaign with their very own money to recruit players for the game. But I just think in terms of what the devs did and them saying this really pissed off a lot of people. It got a lot of people to quit. A lot of people are dropping the game all together and moving on to brighter and better pastures in hopes that somebody else has a clue in terms of what it takes to truly make one of these games take off in a World of Warcraft fashion. I was a huge believer in the game in the past, and I'm still playing it, just as I said before, to stay as part of the community and get to understand what game people will eventually go to next. But now I don't have too much of a fantastic outlook on it. I will provide reports to you and get back to you on developments that happen as they happen to see if maybe there's a better outlook for the future. But as of now, I'm just losing my belief in the game altogether, all because of the devs and that stupid mistake that they made, which is don't market the game. That is the most ridiculous and dumbest thing, I might even be making up a word there, that I've ever heard in my whole life. Word of mouth marketing. Where has that gotten people nowadays? It's very rare that it gets people to the promised land. So that's it for this video. Again, like I said, I'm sorry for the grim outlook, but I just speak it as it is. And while I still remain to play the game and also create a Discord which brings all GameFi info to you, which the link is below, I do not have a very fresh outlook on this game for 2022 and or beyond. So questions and comments below. I always personally answer those, and I'll see you guys next time.